Chapter 1. Kayla. Sophia Town. "Pharaoh, wait!" Kayla Karaka thundered along the narrow street in pursuit of her pangron, her leather boots smacking hard against the cobbles. Ahead of her, Pharaoh was approaching the end of the street, where market sellers were setting up for the evening's celebrations. He was too big to squeeze comfortably between the stone wall and the stalls, but he showed no sign of decelerating. "Slow down!" Kayla shouted. "Pharaoh, stop! You'll break something!" But she was too late. As he turned the corner, Pharaoh lost his balance, instinctively opening his wings to steady himself. His right wingtip clipped a large pot of spices, sending it crashing to the ground. Yellow powder cascaded over the cobbles. The spice merchant shook his fist in the air. "Whose pangron is that?" he shouted. "You should have that beast under control." "Disgraceful," agreed another. "All pangrons should be safely locked away in the academy." Kayla grimaced. She knew the rules. Pangrons were meant to be kept under close supervision, not running wild through the city. But Pharaoh needed to stretch his legs and wings. "He's mine!" she called. "He didn't mean any harm. I'll pay you for the damage." She pulled a money pouch from her belt and jogged up to the stall, handing the seller her 2 largest coins. "A cadet," he grumbled. "Could have guessed it. You need to learn to keep your pangron in check. They're dangerous beasts. Someone could get killed." Kayla bit her tongue, and her hand went immediately to her necklace, a shard of the eggshell Pharaoh had hatched from a year earlier, strung on a length of brown leather. It wouldn't help to tell the merchant Pharaoh was the gentlest, most loving creature she had ever known. The other citizens of Sophia Town only tolerated pangrons because they kept the city safe. They were weapons, not companions. Kayla did her best to pretend she felt the same way, but it was hard when Pharaoh was the single most important thing in her life. "Give her a break," a nearby cloth seller chimed in. "If we come under attack, you'll be glad to have our sky riders to protect you. With discipline like that, they'll be no good to anyone," replied the spice merchant. He wagged a finger at Kayla. "If I see your pangron loose again, I'll be telling your wing commander." Kayla hung her head. She knew he was right. She loved Pharaoh's clumsiness and boundless enthusiasm, but if she was to improve her standing at the Sky Academy, she would have to learn to control him in public. Being the daughter of a criminal was not an easy reputation to shake off. If news of this encounter got back to the academy, Kayla would be in serious trouble. Wing Commander Barash already used any excuse to criticize Kayla and Pharaoh, but a flagrant rule-breaking episode like this risked getting Kayla suspended, and that would mean losing Pharaoh, which was simply not an option. "Sorry," Kayla mumbled. "You're right. I'll send him back to the stables. It won't happen again." The merchant returned to his spices, shaking his head, and Kayla glanced around. Pharaoh was out of sight now, but he had left a trail of yellow paw prints for her to follow. She raced past the rest of the market stalls, lungs burning with the exertion. She could hardly blame Pharaoh for being excited. He had just spent 3 days locked in an underwater cave in the center of the city. It contained a secret lake where the pangrons laid new eggs for academy hopefuls. Earlier in the afternoon, this year's prospective cadets had each been let into the cave to swim down and claim an egg of their own. Kayla had only been inside the cave once herself, during her own initiation this time last year. She remembered it to be a dark and mysterious place. For an animal used to flying every day, being shut down there for so long must have been torture. It hadn't been much fun for Kayla either. While her fellow cadets had sat around the watchtower playing cards and chatting, ignoring Kayla, she had taken to pacing the city walls, counting the minutes until Pharaoh's return. The paw prints led her through a tall archway into the city's walled gardens. On the grass, Pharaoh was standing on all fours with his wings, which doubled as front legs, folded neatly by his sides.